Welcome back, everyone. I'm Robbie.
I'm Jye.
And I'm Liam.
And we've been waiting 14 years for this film to finally come out. The Incredibles are finally back in a new sequel. But is it incredible?
It's time to make some wrong things right. Help me bring supers back into the sunlight. We need to change people's perceptions about superheroes, and Elastigirl is our best play.
Better than me?
Whoa! I like Mom's new job! Bye, sweetie.
I'll watch the kids, no problem.
That's not the way you're supposed to do it, Dad. They want us to do it this
I don't
way.
know that way. Why would they change math? Math is math.
okay,
Math
Dad.
is math.
Incredibles 2 was written and directed once again by Brad Bird, and it stars the voice talents of Craig T. Nelson, Holly Hunter. Brad Bird does Edna Mode once again, very, very well.
Samuel L. Jackson.
Samuel L. Jackson, of course.
Bob Odenkirk.
Yes, Bob Odenkirk joins the cast. And it's a great time.
Yes, The Incredibles are back. This takes off pretty much exactly where the first film left off, which is excellent.
With the Underminer.
And yeah, this is just a damn good movie. Damn good sequel.
It's excellent. Loved it.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved it.
Yeah, I will preface this by saying I don't think this is quite as strong as the first film, but it is really, really close, for me at least. Yeah. It's really close.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm on the same page. I think it's great. I think it's, Brad Bird has stated that he didn't want to make a sequel to The Incredibles unless he felt it could be as good or even better than the original. He waited his time for the right story to tell, and he told the right story, and it's turned out great.
Yeah.
This was a really fun movie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Stellar animation.
Yeah, the animation is top notch here. And I noticed, or at least I'm pretty sure they had to have. They reanimated a couple of scenes of Billy. Mm-hmm. So like when Violet was talking to Tony, because I was like, okay, that didn't look that good.
No,
in 2004,
no, it definitely didn't. I'm going to probably be the slight odd one out here. I think this is equal to the first one for me. You guys both gave the first one 5, if I'm not mistaken.
First movie's a 5-star.
Yeah, it's a perfect film in my opinion.
I adore the first one. It is not quite 5 stars for me. It's a 4.5. I'm rewatching it again tomorrow. I just watched it again recently, but that's the first time I've seen it in like 7 years.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch it again tomorrow. It could maybe be a 5-star, but for now I'm holding a 4.5, so which is equal to this one. But this one, when I walked out.
Spoilers.
Sorry.
Spoilers.
Spoilers for our review.
For our review. Sorry.
But this one, like, as I walked out, I didn't know whether to give this 5 or 4.5,
Wow.
which shows how strong it is. I gave it 4.5 because that's when I'm sitting up with the first one.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a time, I was telling Jye earlier, halfway through the film, I was in my mind thinking, oh my god, this is actually topping the first one for me. And then the second half isn't quite as strong for me, and it dragged down a little bit. But this is such a good movie.
Right. I love it a lot. I think it's going to be hard to talk about one major aspect of the film for me that I really liked without spoiling, which is the villain, if I can say so. I really like Screenslaver.
Yeah.
I think Screenslaver is a really, really good villain. Where do I go with this?
Yeah, so Screenslaver, see, that's the whole aspect that let me down a little bit. In the first half, when you first presented with Screenslaver, I loved it so much. It is dark, it is threatening.
I think
and
that
it's very modern.
I think Screenslaver, first half of the film, is a better villain far away than Syndrome.
Oh,
I disagree.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Heavily disagree.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, no, I think, well, to say why, I'm not going to say much about Screenslaver, but I think that Syndrome is just he's set up so well in the first film, and the payoff is really great.
Don't get me wrong, I love Syndrome, but I really like the really dark element of Screenslaver.
See, that's for me is why I started off liking Screenslaver more than Syndrome, but then at the end, Syndrome had a better payoff than Screenslaver.
Oh, 100%.
So with me, like, the way they presented Screenslaver and the way they introduced him, I thought was far stronger than Syndrome. But then when the film gets into the third act, all the threat and everything that was there from screensavers, I thought was gone.
Yeah, because they try to put a twist in the movie that's just incredibly obvious, like, of who Screenslaver really is. The minute that character was on screen, I was like, yeah, it's that person.
Right.
Like I just knew, and then they went down the road of having it be a big twist, and then that's where Screenslaver sort of started to be a bit of a weak villain for me, because it was just like, oh, well, you built up this mystery about this character, and just, you know, I would have liked it if it was more of like an anonymous sort of being. You know what I'm saying?
That's what we were saying before. We would have loved it if Screenslaver stayed Screenslaver.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we're really verging on spoilers here.
Yeah,
We should go any further.
it's hard to talk about this. Screensaver's a good villain. I really enjoy Screensaver without
I think an okay villain. I think an okay villain.
I think he starts off a terrific villain that just doesn't follow through.
Yes, I agree. But plot wise, so the film in a lot of ways is like the first film.
It kind of just switches it around.
Yeah, so in this one, Helen gets called out to be the hero while Bob stays at home. There's much more emphasis on the staying at home side of this.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
Bob's whole arc, really. And it's a really entertaining one. I didn't... Watching the trailer, I had a bit of doubt watching Bob at home with the kids. I thought,
The trailers never sold me on the movie.
This is not what I want to see. And then as soon as I was watching it, I was like, this is great. Like, this is exactly... I love Bob finding out about Jack's powers.
Yeah.
Yes, Jack is a standout. He is fantastic in this.
Very,
I loved
very
it.
funny scenes.
I was worried about when I heard how much screen time he has and people saying, "Oh, Jack is great." I'm like, "Oh, they're going the cutesy route, like Finding Dory again." But it's not that at all.
Yeah, I didn't think Jack was overused at all. I thought he could have easily became annoying,
definitely.
but he didn't.
I like we just said a second ago. Like I was not sold at all with the trailers. I was excited for it because it's The Incredibles, and obviously been waiting for this for 14 years. But I think maybe just because the last couple of Pixar sequels have been quite subpar, like Monsters University, I thought was
Subpar. This is Bob Par.
I was thinking the exact same thing. I just didn't want to say it, Jack.
wow. Okay.
Continue.
Monsters University, I thought was extremely weak compared to the first one. Finding Dory, while better than Monsters University, I still thought was a fraction of what Finding Nemo was. So going into this one, I was like, okay, hopefully they get it right, but I'm going in with the expectations of Finding Dory pretty much, where it'll be fun, it'll be amusing, but it'll be missing a lot of the, not the adult side of it, but just a more mature telling of the story.
And I also felt like Finding Dory just had no heart.
Yeah.
Really?
I liked Finding Dory.
Yeah,
Whereas, but Incredibles 2, I feel like it has the same heart of the first film.
This feels like the true continuation of the first one.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. It's
And quite literally it is.
It very much is, yeah.
It's a sequel that feels like it has a place. It has something to say. It's not just, something that people can make money off, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm glad to say that, because
I
was worried.
really think this had to be... It could not be set any other time bar right after the first one, because the whole, first shot of the film is The Incredibles fighting the Underminer, and the two characters who bring them back in the spotlight are there. It's like, oh my god, they're showing themselves again. This is it, and this is what forces the whole plot as we move along. That happens right there in a scene that started in the first film.
Mm-hmm.
So it feels
We'll have to talk about the action, because the action in this movie is
So
unbelievable.
good.
It is
So
better
good.
than half the action films we get in live action.
Yeah.
I mean, there's obviously the Underminer scene at the beginning, which is riveting.
That was excellent.
But the one
I
bit,
love that so
there's
much.
one bit I was like, I realized for the entire action scene, I was like this the entire time with my popcorn, not actually eating. I was just so stunned. The bit when it's Helen on the bike when she's chasing down the train.
Yeah, that great.
Was absolutely riveting.
Yeah.
So tense. I was edge of my seat, and I was like, this is animation.
Yeah.
And I'm feeling so much more adrenaline than I have in Fast and Furious and any of those.
And there are actually a lot of tense scenes without giving the scene I'm talking about away. There is a scene with
the scene we were talking about before.
Yeah, there's a scene with
it's
Elastigirl
creepy.
where she's investigating something, and it is genuinely frightening.
Yeah. Well, the great thing about a director like Brad Bird is that he doesn't consider animation to be a genre.
No.
Because it's not.
It's just a form of storytelling.
Exactly. And so when he makes a film, he makes a film. He doesn't make an animated film. And that's why everything looks so cinematic.
Yeah.
And all these action sequences are just excellent.
Yeah.
Because he's just got this vision that he that he wants to tell, and it just so happens that this vision is through animation.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Watching it last night, the new one, and the first one I rewatched it, there's some epic shots in these films.
Yeah.
Like, really epic. And not just in the action, but just in just general kind of like setting shots, you know, when you see the cities and things like that. They are framed in a way that are so big.
Mm-hmm.
And they feel like they belong on the big screen. You know, animation so often you're watching, like, yeah, obviously it looks great. Everything looks great on the big screen, no matter what it is. But, you know, a lot of these movies, you watch them on TV, especially today, we've got great TV setups at home. You watch them and you get the same effect.
Yeah.
But The Incredibles, I think, will be one of those rare animated films where it truly belongs on the big screen, and the small screen, not that it does it a disservice,
It wouldn't diminish
but it gains something extra by being on the theatre presentation.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Voice acting. Okay, so what do you think of the voice acting?
They sound older.
They do.
They do sound a bit older, and it's one of those things where it's like, obviously
You can't get away from that. Yeah.
You can't get away from that.
Yeah.
But like,
I mean, what do? You recast them? You don't recast them. Like, it's.
But like, it's like 20 minutes into the film, it's like, okay, you know, you sort of settle into it, and it's like it doesn't feel any different.
Yeah.
Because you're just sort of, your brain adjusts to it.
Yeah. I think for me, Bob and Violet are the two that sounded a lot older for me. Dash is a completely new. He's a new.
So that's what I was going to ask.
Voice actor.
So I didn't look into. Obviously, I knew it was Craig T. Nelson and Holly Hunter came back and Sam Jackson. Was it the same? Obviously Dash
is different.
Was it the same one for Violet?
The lady doing Violet, she's quite old. Like, she wasn't a kid when she.
Oh yeah, that's what I was wondering if it was her came back.
Yeah, she's same lady. I think it's the only acting credit she has. I think she's
Really?
just done Violet.
Wow.
That's it.
I mean,
I could be wrong, but I think
Yeah.
if it's not just The Incredibles, it's barely anything else.
Yeah.
And yeah, Dash, I don't think he's been anything else. I think they found him because he sounded like the first film.
And the old guy in the movie who
Bud Lucky, Rick Dicker.
Dicker.
Is that a different voice?
Yeah, that's
Jonathan Banks from Breaking
Bad.
Bad.
Yeah, but he sounded extremely similar.
Yeah.
I could.
Also, it wasn't him in the first one.
No, it was Bud Lucky, who was one of the.
Oh, right, okay.
animators.
He unfortunately passed away.
So that's where I wasn't
But
sure. What was going on.
I remember he also, Bud Lucky, directed and wrote and concepted the Bound and short from the first film.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I could tell it wasn't him because he didn't have that same gravelly
that's
tone.
Yeah.
But Jonathan Banks did a fine job
he did.
as Rick Dicker. So what a name, Rick Dicker.
Yeah. Yikes.
I mean, okay, and then like Edna Mode, Brad Bird does the voice against Edna Mode.
Edna was not in it for as much as I thought she was.
No, because people think she's got
That's
much
really
screen time as the first movie, and she's got less screen time.
Less.
I am
far less.
so glad, because there's this little rule. It's like, you give out little lollies in small portions because it makes you want more.
Yeah.
You don't give them a big block of chocolate
Exactly.
because they'll get sick of it. And you know, considering how popular Edna was in the first movie, I walked into this expecting I was going to get a big Hershey's bar.
Yeah.
But but no, she was in it for a very small portion, and when she was in it, it was great.
Yeah. I mean, she's the kind of character you expect. You know, she's such a fan favorite.
Mm-hmm.
It's the perfect money vehicle that you expect a studio to be like, oh, she's going to get her own spin-off movie. And if it ever happens, I would not be surprised. I don't want it to happen, but it's a classic example of like the Penguins of Madagascar and the Minions in
exactly.
in Sydney. They were fantastic in the original movies because they were in small doses, but they literally are a one-trick pony. Like they're great, but they do the same thing over and over again. You can't stretch that to an
They're
entire
great
film.
in those first movies. Everything else is crap for those things.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I'm glad Edna wasn't used very much, even though I like Edna a lot.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, you like her because she's just a supporting character.
Yeah.
Just a fun supporting character on the side.
One thing I always learned, like when I was doing script writing at film school, was you always leave the audience wanting more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You end on a high note. Don't push it. Even if you think they might love just an extra couple of minutes, just pull it back, and it's better to make them think, oh, you're so good to have a bit more of that, because you have them like salivating for like the next one and the next one. Instead of just like, oh, you know, it was great, but it kind of wore thin a bit. Like you don't want that effect.
No, for sure.
Alright, so
sorry.
Yeah.
And one thing I was worried about this film, when you know trailers were coming out, was I was like, oh, seems like they're gonna do a lot of, hey, remember the first movie? Honey, where's my super suit? And they did make references to the first film, but like at least specifically talking about that Frozone scene, it was like 10 seconds of a little joke, and that was it.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, oh, cool. I'm glad that they didn't drag that out.
Yeah.
It seems like they really wanted to, you know,
create its own new
absolutely.
identity. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think the way they handled the callbacks to the original was the same way, was handled just as well as Toy Story 3 handled the callbacks to the first Toy Story. They were there, they obviously they need to be there for the fans who grew up with it 10, 15 years ago, but the film doesn't rely on it as a crutch.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
It knows when to move on and when to have a little reflection and look back at what came before.
Yeah, for sure.
So, I mean, I think that's pretty much all we can really say, non-spoilery. There is obviously a lot more to say, but that's really verging into spoilers.
Yeah, the film there's really a lot more to it than what
Which is great. I mean, it's always great when you can't really talk about a film because of spoilers, because it means that there's so much there. And this is definitely one of those films. So, Liam, you can go first.
Yeah, sure. I'm giving this one 4 stars.
Nice.
I think it's great, and I think that, you know, it's not as strong as the first film, but like what is? You know, it's a great continuation, and honestly, I'm looking forward to the prospect of a third movie.
I'd love a third.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 4 stars from me.
If it's as perfect as the Toy Story 3 trilogy, I'll take it gladly.
For sure.
I'm going 4.5. I really like this. This came incredibly close to the first one for me. The humor's great, the action's great, the animation's great, the story is great. So yeah, 4.5 for me. This was so close to being perfect.
I'm giving it 4.5 for now. After the one watch, I'll definitely see it again next couple of weeks and reevaluate maybe. But sitting on a very, very strong 4.5. It's, for me, this is as strong as the first one. Yeah, it's fantastic. If you're a fan of Pixar, if you're a fan of action movies, go see this. If you're a fan of the original one, obviously.
Yeah, for sure.
Combustion imminent? What does that mean? Ah!
It means fire, Robert.
The screenslaver interrupts this program for an important announcement.
Suit up. It might get weird.
I'll be there ASAP.
Where you going ASAP? You better be back ASAP.
Alright guys, those are our thoughts on Pixar's latest Incredibles 2. Let us know what you thought of the film in the comments below. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
That is pretty much it.
Hope you enjoyed the movie as much as we did. Until next time, we'll see you at the movies.